Aaron Bass wrote, "Thanks for the videos, but as an Expedition owner, I was hoping you could go into greater detail in describing your shutter. Mine has developed a condition that I would describe as a shudder. Specifically, my center console, which houses my tranny's gear shifter and cup holders, begins to shudder to the point that I can watch my drink in a clear cup look like someone's quickly shaking the cup back and forth, not too drastically enough to spill the drink out. This, along with the slight but distinct shaking or shuddering of the entire center console unit itself, but it is not something that I feel in my steering wheel or in my gas or brake pedals. Any extra details describing your Navi shudder would be appreciated. Thanks in advance for your time." You're very welcome, Aaron Bass. I had responded to Aaron shortly after he left his message for me, but the other day when I was recording the 23,000 mile update for the instant shutter fix, I started rambling about the differences between the shudder that you feel in your transmission and the transmission codes that you may get on your Lincoln Navigator or your Ford Expedition, basically when you start to accelerate and you have that loss of power. So I go a little bit deeper into my explanations there on what went on, and I also have a little bit of a video here that I'm going to insert into this video of where I meet up with an owner of a 2017 Lincoln Navigator, and I basically test his vehicle out and run the blue driver on it to see what's going on with it, and I give him my diagnosis of what the problem is, along with blue driver, of course. Big difference. This is actually a 2017, and the paint, I think your paint, like my paint's got a little bit of a gloss to it.
Yeah.
Yours is I like this better.
Oh really?
Yeah, they sold it to me and told me it was black, and it's not. Yeah, that's, wow. Okay. Wheels are the same. Pretty cool. So right now I'm trying to accelerate and the power's coming back and the thing is gone. I think this is your ignition coils, which is good. That's good news. This is an easy job, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ignition coils are easy, man. I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna do it right here on this hill. Coming up on this hill. Yeah, all that bucking, that's the word.
Bucking.
But yeah, right now you've got a loss of power. The transmission light comes on. So that was a really interesting meeting. It turns out that it seems like every year that they made this particular model of, I'm not in the Navigator right now, I'm actually in the Toyota. Speaking of people saying stay away from American cars, I get it, believe me. Our personal car, this is actually my wife's car, but it's a Toyota. I mean, we're huge believers in driving, Japanese cars. I mean, we're a big believer in them. We think they work properly without any kind of headache, really, ever. I love them. But anyway, back to the Lincoln Navigator. This problem is a little bit different than mine. It's a little bit more clear cut. Like the way the vehicle, when you accelerate and it has that, it kind of jerks and all that when you're trying to drive it. I'm just trying to be more descriptive here. But yeah, the way it jerks around and everything like that when you're driving it, I said this is your ignition coils all day long. You need to do a tune-up. You should just go on and change all the ignition coils and change all the spark plugs. Then to back me up, I plugged in my blue driver, boom. He saw everything there. I sent him the report. He had 18 codes, man. He had 18 codes. So for all of you like Ford Expedition, Lincoln Navigator drivers out there, a lot of the issues with the 2017 were a little bit different. Like he had a power steering code, which I've never had. I hope I never get that. He had a power steering code. He had I think he even had a brake module code. I don't know. I'm going to look over that stuff. If I can show it without giving away his VIN number, if I can mask his VIN number, I'll just put it up on the screen here. But yeah, this is basically, I'm gonna have to break this away from my other video where I was doing the 23,000 mile report, because there's just too much stuff here and I don't want to overload you guys. I'd rather condense it into a smaller, shorter video. Okay, just to clarify, this is very important, please pay attention. If you are driving your vehicle and you feel a sudden loss of power and you press on the accelerator but nothing happens. You keep pressing on it and it seems like it just won't engage, it won't go anywhere. This is not a transmission shutter, okay? I want you to know that. I have another video series here that you can check out. You can go and watch that video series. It's called the Misfire Mystery, and check that out because you'll see what I went through. If you're having that problem where you're losing power and the vehicle goes into what we call limp mode, you have an issue with either your turbo pressure control sensor, your MAP sensor, or your MAF sensor. They're all different. But guess what? You can go and buy all of those things. It won't even matter because the dealership has something. They have some sort of software, some program, some way of communicating with these vehicles that we can't get our hands on, and they sort it out. You can get a blue driver and stuff like that and clear out codes. I've done that before. It's a Band-Aid. It won't fix the issue. This is a dealer situation. I don't want to quote what it should cost, but when I went through it a couple of years ago, it was a $600 problem. Not trying to quote dealerships, I'm just telling you that it was $600 and some change. Someone at Lincoln told me that they had to connect that car up to their computer, and this was corporate, by the way. There's also the transmission control module as well. This can also cause a problem. Once again, there are other videos out there. I talk about it a little bit in my videos, but there's this guy who is really, like, he is the Ford Lincoln master, and it's Ford Tech Makuloco, if I'm saying it right. But he has his own channel. He does tons of videos. This guy is, I would listen to him if I were you about that kind of stuff. But I will tell you, he also advises that you change this transmission fluid every 60,000 miles, change the filter, and do all this other special stuff to keep it running, which I am not doing in my situation. So the flip side of that is if you are driving down the road and you go to accelerate your vehicle and it feels like, you know those little ridges on the side of the road to keep people, like, to kind of wake them up if they're falling asleep and they start to drift, and it's like, and that's my best sound effect for it, but you know what I'm talking about. You ride to the side of the road and you ride into those grooves or those lines that are cut deep into the asphalt, and it's supposed to really vibrate your vehicle and wake you up. Well, that vibration is almost identical to when this vehicle shutters. You almost look around and you're like, did I just run over something? I mean, am I in between the lines on the road? That is a transmission shutter, the torque converter or whatever it may be. I was having that problem. I tried to get it sorted out with the dealership. They kept playing games, so I went ahead and put instant shutter fix in this transmission, as you can see in my other videos. And that's it. And here we are today, 23,000 miles later. That's it. Well, there are other little things here and there, but those are the two major things that I've had to deal with this Lincoln Navigator.
Kevin Kempton wrote, "Here's an idea. Stay away from American vehicles. It's a fact that they don't make their parts as reliable as Toyota. Take two vehicles and drive them the same way and do everything the same for both of them. One of the cars being a Chrysler minivan and the other being a Toyota Sienna, and see which one breaks down first. Stick with either Toyota or Honda and stay on top of the maintenance and you'll be all right."
Listen, you're preaching to the choir. I hear you. But in this business, in this industry, people want you to drive an American luxury vehicle. That's it. They don't want you driving a Toyota Highlander to pick them up, which is one of my favorite vehicles. But they don't want to see you in that. They don't want to be seen in it. It's sad, but true, okay? So I'm starting to see people using the QX80. Those are starting to come around. Some limo drivers are replacing their Escalades with a QX80. And that's great. Quite frankly, I'm not super fond of the QX80 as far as its exterior. But yes, it's a far more reliable vehicle. I spoke to someone about it,
asked him. He said, yeah, I drove all these other SUVs and this is the one. It's the best. So that's great. But unfortunately, we have the type of clientele that, no offense to them, but they want things to just not change. They want things to just be the way they've always been. So they want to ride in a GM vehicle. Like I've told you before, for some reason, they'll accept a Suburban or a Yukon, but they will not accept an Expedition. But they'll accept a Lincoln. So all they'll take from the Ford side is Lincoln. And then from the GM side, it's Suburban, Yukon, or Escalade. Nothing else. If you use any of that other stuff, you are dealing with a specified, like a specific high-end client, and more power to you. If they're okay with you showing up with a S-Class or anything like that, or any of these other high-end luxury vehicles, that's great. There is a place for those clients. They are there. But for just your average, airport traveler, or just when they want to do something, they call for a limo, they don't even expect to see a sedan anymore. They expect to see a Suburban, a Yukon, an Escalade, or Lincoln Navigator. And in that order that I just listed. It's sad. And me, I've tried, people. I tried to go against the grain. Believe me, I have. I've tried other vehicles out, most notably at Tesla, and it didn't work out. The Tesla was a big mistake. It just wasn't meant to do this type of work. And that's a whole nother story that I'm not willing to get into right now, because I don't really want to deal with the whole Tesla backlash. I don't want to deal with personalities who don't understand or who think I'm rich, because I'm certainly not rich. And that was the biggest problem overall with me getting a Tesla, is I am not rich by any means. I am not in the 1%, I'm not in the 5%, I'm not in the 10%. I just had no idea what I was getting myself into, and unfortunately it cost me big time, and it taught me a big lesson. So here we are. It's American vehicles. As long as I'm doing this, even though Tesla is an American vehicle, but it is GM or Ford. As long as I'm doing this, people just aren't willing to accept anything else. So it is what it is, and I have to accept that, and I have. And that's why I'm probably not going to continue to do this type of work. I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody what I'm planning to do, but I'm working on other things, and because this doesn't pay, I do this because I just want to help people. That is the mission of this channel. Everything I do, everything I post, I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help you make a decision on whether or not you want to buy a particular product or hire a particular service. That is it. That's all I'm trying to do, is help you. And I hope that this video is doing that. I hope all of my videos have done that for you. I want to thank you for watching. I've got more videos coming out to you soon. I've got so many videos that are in the editing process right now, or going through the editing process, that it's ridiculous, and I can't keep up. But I'm gonna get everything out. I'm gonna post it because I want to help you guys once again. And I hope all of you are having a great day. Remember to do what you will, but harm no one.